This is a Dragon Blazer production.
Coming down the aisle, your podcast tag team champions of the world, Boomer and Blaze.
Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting edition of the Boomer and Blaze Show. I am Boomer.
And I'm Blaze.
And, I'm trying to hold myself together. A little behind the scenes for you as we were loading the Peacock. We got this shit about some new show. What was it called? Queens
Court.
Queen's Court. Jesus. What
Queens, I don't give a shit.
Basically looked like The Bachelor with some extra people. We don't care. I was just laughing.
I don't give a shit about The
Bachelor
Bachelor either.
About it, that's all. Anyway, here we are, another week, another exciting episode, and believe it or not, it's our last pay-per-view of 1996. We made it through another year. Well, not a year in real life.
Believe it or not, we're walking on air. We watched another year of wrestling.
I love it that you know the theme song for The Greatest American Hero. I love it. People are like, what? To what?
I'll be completely honest with you. I didn't even know what it was from. I
But
just
you
know
knew
the
song, right?
I just know the damn song.
Well, it's from the show Greatest American Hero, which I used to watch, but I think it's from the 70s. But basically, you would love it. Now, maybe it's not as good as I remember. It's probably cheesy now, but you would love it because it's a guy that gets superpowers, and he's a fucking clumsy... The last person in the world that should be granted the powers of Superman gets them. Okay. So it's a comedy-based superhero show.
I did not know that.
The guy's like a school teacher or something, and he ends up with these superpowers just like Superman.
I just know the
and
song.
And he does stuff like he's trying to learn to fly, and he crashes through barn doors and shit, and stuff like that. Like the accidental superhero.
Oh, so alright.
It's some good stuff. I don't even know if you can watch it.
Yeah. I knew the song, but I don't. So that's cool. I didn't know.
Yes, Greatest Americans. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, it's a funny TV show. So... let's see, what do we talk about? Let's start with some NFL stuff. Let's talk about our Bengals real quick. I know it's not a football podcast, but we can talk about what we want.
We talk about the Bengals all the time.
We've lost a few people.
We have lost a few people, but we've also gained.
We have, but we lost Bates. We lost Jesse Bates.
We did.
We lost P. Ryan.
Von Bell.
And we lost Hayden Hurst, right?
Hayden Hurst.
Our tight end, yeah.
Our tight end.
Now we did gain.
We gained Orlando Jones Jr.,
yes.
Which is huge.
I hope.
I think we also picked up another offensive lineman,
Football
too.
gods, please don't let anything bad happen because it's a really fat contract that's worth every penny as long as everything plays out.
Yeah.
He was on ESPN this morning. They were interviewing, and I loved they kept asking him, so what do you think about the fact that you're going from protecting Patrick Mahomes to protecting Joe Burrow? They were like, what's wrong with Kansas City? Why would they do that to themselves? I mean, if you think about it, right?
Yeah.
You just put one of your best players on your enemy.
Yep.
Yeah. And he just kind of said there with a big smile, like, hey, I mean, hey, who day? Yeah. Actually, he was like, I'm excited to be going from Patrick Mahomes to Joe Burrow, like,
Yeah.
And they were teasing him about being rich, which, but I am excited, and I know people got to move on. That's just the way it is. You can't keep everybody.
No.
And we'll be okay. We will be okay. I think Zeke getting cut kind of shocked me. Did you see that? The Zeke and Cowboys are parting ways.
I did see that, yes, absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why, and I love Joe Mixon and any other, you got to be careful with the running backs. Their lives are a little shorter. They overpaid Zeke. Zeke's a good player.
Yeah.
But this was all about money. They overpaid Zeke.
Fair enough.
He's getting older. Tony Pollard's, a good, decent running back.
Yeah.
It's why the Giants did what they did. They tagged their running back. They paid their quarterback. No disrespect to running backs at all, but you got to be careful when you're signing those.
I was sad to see P. Ryan go.
I was
because I would have been. I was fine with possibly losing Mixon, especially with all this.
Well, yeah,
cases going
I
through.
Just read some breaking news that claims he's not going to get charged, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I got to ask because there is a rumor. What would you feel about Zeke being a Bengal? Because that is a rumor.
Not if we're paying them as much as.
Oh, no, not
Cowboys
for that
are.
contract. No.
No, but for a smaller contract?
I would be fine with him being on the Bengals for the right contract, yeah.
Absolutely.
Don't overpay him. No. But
Absolutely.
Zeke to the Bengals, come on, Zeke. Sure. I mean,
Sometimes
there's
an
nothing.
old Ohio guy?
Ohio guy, and sometimes there's nothing better than a bitter superstar, because he's going to have a little chip now.
A little chip on his shoulder.
Which he had
absolutely.
last year. That's why he played better than he has in a long time last year. Because they were talking about him already being washed up, and he's like, okay, let me show you. Give me the football. So
I wouldn't hate it.
But that was one of the first teams that was mentioned, because obviously he wants to go to a contender. So it's going to be one of us, Kansas City, not just those two teams, but it's going to be, he's not going to, the Texans.
Right.
He wants to go to a contender, so. Yeah, we'll see what happens, but I'd be okay with it as long as it ain't for a fortune. We already spent a lot of money on our line, so, but I'm okay with that. That's a huge. Pre-Joe Burrow, Brown would have never, he would have been the Bengals. I don't care if you pay me, I'm not going to the Bengals. You know what I mean?
Right.
There was a time, we've been fans our whole life. There was a time a guy like that, you could have threw a Deshaun Watson contract at him. He would have been like, nope.
No.
You're the Bungles. I'm good. I don't want to.
No, things are different. Culture's different.
Yeah.
With
it
Burrow.
It is. So there's been a lot of moves, though. Like, it kind of saddens me these days that the NFL moves so much anymore. You know what I mean? And I get it. Everybody needs to get paid. And it's not just that players aren't loyal. Teams aren't always loyal anymore.
Yeah.
It just kind of sucks. When we were young, not everybody, but there were guys that stayed their whole career. Like, that's what you did. It's just sad.
Yeah.
But whatever.
As long as Burrow stays his own career, I think I'll be
He wants
happy.
to, so as long as
I would
they
love
keep
for him
paying
to.
him, just keep paying him.
Burrow
keep him
and
happy.
Chase, just keep them.
Keep him happy. And apparently Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Jet, so there's that too.
I heard there was a bit of a snag, though, because of what Aaron Rodgers wants, money-wise.
Dude, it's so crazy. Have you heard the whole story? Did you see he gave the Jets a list of free agents he wanted? And the best part is, he said, Green Bay never gave me weapons. Okay, well, the list of free agents were Randall Cobb,
Okay.
one of his old receivers.
Yes.
That young guy that Green Bay has, he's a receiver at Green Bay. A rookie, or 1 or 2 years in.
I know who you're
Once
talking
him.
about. I can't think of his
The
name.
other name on the list, Odell.
Oh, Beckham.
Yeah, the one's $20 million a year. So you want us to get rid of... You didn't watch the Jets last year and see the team they had, so you want us to sign old, washed up, other than the young kid from Green Bay, receivers that you said didn't win you games because you just said Green Bay never gave you weapons. But they're going after... They signed that kid from Green Bay like they're doing whatever Aaron Rodgers tells them. They're like, yes, sir, yes, sir. So he was on that Pat McAfee show and said on TV, I intend to play for the Jets. Now it's just a matter of Green Bay getting the deal done, which he's saying because Green Bay's sitting there like, hey, dude, we don't have to trade you.
Yeah.
We were in no rush. And if the Jets aren't going to give us what we want, then why would we trade? So they're kind of playing cat and mouse.
Yeah.
And Rodgers is just going on TV saying, I'm leaving. They told me they don't want me no more in so many words. So he's basically trying to force the situation, so... But to give a team a list of free agents, if you want me, I want this.
Right.
Wow.
Fuck Rodgers.
Crawl back into your dark hut and smoke your peyote or whatever you were doing on the mountain. I don't know. He's still got game in him left, but you're acting like you're fucking Tom Brady or Joe Montana or something. Like, Are you a good quarterback?
In fairness,
yes. You're 37.
Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks
He
in
is,
the
but
league.
here's my thing. The Jets are
Or
good.
at least were.
The Jets are good. The Jets are a good team.
Yeah, but they don't have a quarterback.
Right. So why do you want to fuck with their team asking for these free agents you don't need? You just go there and win, dude. They were winning games with guys I can't even remember. What was it? White? One guy was White, and the other guy, I don't remember his name. Like, I don't even tell you the other quarterback's name.
I mean...
They had the offensive and defensive player of the year, correct? Like,
Right.
Just go win. The young guy from Green Bay I can understand, but Randall Cobb and OBJ, come on. Come on. OBJ wants too much money. I'm just saying. That's enough NFL, though. I just wanted to bring up our Bengals. Hooday. Welcome to Cincinnati, Mr. Brown. Protect our quarterback. Come win a ring with us. Let's win a ring. Another ring.
Yeah, he could leave, go after winning a ring, and go to us and hopefully win another one.
Right, exactly. Exactly. It would be great. Absolutely. All right, so since it's right around the corner, literally, St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patty's Day.
St. Patty's Day. We're having corned beef and cabbage at my job tomorrow. So.
Oh, that's nice. I'll probably watch some It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Why not?
To celebrate St.
Have
Patty's.
some green beer, you know. St. Patty's Day's never
Watch
really...
Patty's Pub.
It's never really been a big... Have you ever really done anything... Has St. Patty's ever really been a big...
I mean, I've gone to the bar and I've drank green beer. Or green drinks.
Like, I don't remember... Even when we were kids, we didn't really have, like, family.
I always felt like St. Patty's was an adult holiday anyways.
Right.
It's your drinking holiday.
I don't even remember if we had corned beef and cabbage when we were kids.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, listen.
I never ate anything on St. Patty's Day.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't need a holiday to drink. If I want to get shit-faced, I'll just do it.
Yeah, but...
I don't need a holiday.
I don't mind the excuse.
It's an excuse, I guess, but gosh, I could give you a million excuses. Walk a mile in my shoes, but... Okay, well, it's St. Patrick's Day, and as you can tell, we don't really care. I just thought I'd bring it up. Yeah. Do you got a favorite St. Patrick's Day song? I don't know any. I just thought it...
Go Down to the Old Pub Instead by Stephen Lynch.
Look, he knew one, so there you go.
Yeah.
My favorite St. Patrick's Day movie is Leprechaun. That counts, right?
Yes.
Sure, right?
Go to the Old Pub Instead by Stephen Lynch is a... It's a song... If I remember right, he made a St. Patty's Day song, but it was literally a song about the fact that his girlfriend's on the rag, so it's just go down to the old pub instead.
Wow. Well, hey, you know. I gotta love those old, old songs.
Stephen Lynch is a shock comedian singer.
I think I've heard of him. I don't know if I know
I
his
love
music,
him.
but I think I do think that
Lullaby is one of the best. I love Lullaby.
We like to educate you around here.
Absolutely. I love my comedy music,
dude,
okay?
There's nothing wrong with that.
The interesting thing about Stephen Lynch is a lot of the comedy singers, one thing about comedy music is you don't have to be like the best singer.
Well, no.
You're not like winning singing competition. Stephen Lynch is a comedy singer who has this beautiful voice. Right. He has this beautiful voice, and then he sings a song that goes, "Damn, that's an ugly baby. Damn, that's an ugly ass baby."
Well, I mean,
my semen must have turned because damn, that was an ugly baby.
I've seen some ugly babies.
He's got this great voice. So
nice. Hey, listen, ugly babies are a fact. But everybody in the world likes to lie. Every time someone sees it, they're like, that's the cutest baby ever. Can't we just be honest? They're not all cute. I'm just saying. I've seen some ugly babies out there. By the way, I forgot to mention at the top of the show, not only is it our last pay-per-view of this year, we have one more video game review. Woo! Not doing that yet, but I wanted to mention we do have one more of those to squeeze in. Yeah, we're not going to do that yet. You know better than that. We got other crap to talk about. Fair enough. You know? Unfortunately... My co-host here wanted to talk about History of the World Part 2. I have not got to see it yet. And I've been waiting years and years for this to happen.
History of the World Part 1 in the 80s?
Yeah, yes. Which I own because I have the Mel Brooks collection.
Love me some Mel Brooks.
I'll have to.
Yeah, it was...
It's Blu-ray too, by the way.
So they did some funny stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we will talk about it again, for sure, when I get to see it, but...
For example... Mel Brooks said he was only going to agree to this, I think, if they do that CGI ability where they can make him younger. So you get this younger, very fake-looking Mel Brooks.
Nice.
And then with this, like, muscular body. Because he's like in his 90s now.
Which he never had the muscular body. Yeah, so that's even better.
He's like in his 90s now.
Yeah, so I'm glad it got done. You know, even if it didn't go to the theater, I'm glad. How star-studded with it was it? Was there a lot of...
A lot of comedians. Nick Kroll was very popular in it. Wanda Sykes. That wasn't like...
It was more the comedians than it was like big actors?
No, yeah, it was less big actors and more people like Paul Scheer or... You know, like... comedians that are mainstays in a lot of good comedies. Yeah. These are the type of people that are in there. And I think Nick Kroll and Wanda Sykes were both like big parts of the writing process. They're in a lot of it.
Cool. I love Wanda Sykes. So I mean,
I loved a lot of it. They redid Hitler on Ice, which was great. It was great. It was funny too because they show the title card for Hitler on Ice, and you hear Mel Brooks' voice like, "Hey, I said we're not doing any repeats," and that was really funny. You also had like my biggest one of my complaints is there was a couple stories. A lot of the stories they kept on coming back to,
right?
Because you know how it's like a bunch of different skits, and there was some that told a story throughout multiple skits through multiple episodes. There was two that were really a lot of it, and one of them was Wanda Sykes had a skit called Shirley Chisholm or Shirley, and they had, I guess Shirley Chisholm is in the 70s tried to run to be president.
Okay.
She was the first black woman to try to run for president.
Wow, in the 70s?
In the 70s.
So she was trying to hammer
But she didn't get that far.
No,
she never got to be a candidate.
To have the back then in the 70s, she was trying to knock out two of them. She was trying to be the first black president and the first
woman president.
So
she was a very popular politician.
Doesn't even matter how far she made it, but the fact that she was even thinking about it back then, hats off to you for sure.
They turned her story into a 70s sitcom with a live black audience, as they kept on pointing out. Shirley is recorded in front of a live black audience.
Which, as mild as a lot of this sounds, this probably explains why it was on Hulu, on a streaming service, instead of, Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of offensive stuff in it. Not to us, yeah. But the way the world is now. Yeah. There's a reason it went to streaming and didn't go to the theater. Yeah,
there is some good stuff.
Yeah.
Hitler on Ice.
Hitler on Ice, yeah. Would not work now. You cannot just...
They did end it with Jews in space. So we got Jews in space, and one of the funny things is Nick Kroll is like the captain or whatever, and then you see Wanda Sykes shows up, and he's like, "Are you allowed to be in the skit?" And she's like, "Damn straight, I'm one of the executive producers of this whole thing." And he's like, "Oh, well, you're already pretty much a Jew." That's like, damn.
Yeah.
That's funny. But no, they kind of went like, Shirley lasted, they had skits and multiple skits in every single episode. Like, they kind of really went, not that I disliked it, it was almost too much. Like, it was just, I would have liked to see other stuff over more of that.
Gotcha.
The other big thing was, they did a lot with Judas and Jesus. But there was a lot of that, but they kind of changed it up. They started it out where they had Judaism. It was a parody of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Gotcha.
Judaism, Your Enthusiasm, or something like that. And it was like mostly Nick Kroll and JB Smooth, I think.
Yep, you're right. Yeah.
It was both of them. Nick Kroll played Judas the whole time. Gotcha. And they had the whole thing done in the style of Curb Your Enthusiasm and stuff.
Which I thought, were you a Curb Your Enthusiasm
I've never seen
guy?
it. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I know of it, but I've never watched it.
I think it's one of those shows that either people like it, hate it, or love it. I thought it was a good show. I think it might have been above some people. Some shows are too smart for certain people. I'm not calling people dumb, but I'm just saying some people thought it was a really stupid show. I thought it was a good show. I thought it was well done, but
I don't have any opinion of it other than I've just never watched it.
Yeah.
I've never bothered checking it out. And then they kind of switched it up, and they did this whole thing where Jesus and the apostles have like a Beatles style band.
Nice.
But the way they end it, okay? The reason why... Now, Jesus is played as a black man, and all the apostles are played by the same actors in every single one of these skits.
Right.
Well, in the last episode, they have this whole thing in the 300 AD. I can't remember. It was like Catholics or something in 300 AD.
Right.
And they're talking about now they're talking about the skits. It's like, I have a few changes I would like to make. Number one, do we really need Jesus to be ethnic? I think he should look like what I think Jesus should look like. And it's like, white, and or they trying to skirt around the fact that they want Jesus to be white.
Right.
And it's like this woman who's just she keeps she's at the head, oh, is that what you like? It's like a board meeting where they're trying to pitch ideas or something and everything. And she's like, oh, yes. And they I think they asked her some things, and she's like, oh, I'm not allowed to have an opinion. I'm a woman in 300 AD. So they had all these kind of jokes and stuff, and they just kept talking. It was all a board of old white men and everything. I think Paul Scheer was one of them.
Yeah.
And they're just talking about how they should change this, and it's like, Mary Magdalene, let's make her a working woman. It's more, progressive. And she's like, oh yeah, that'd be good. She's like, make her a prostitute. And they're like, there. Now she's like, yeah, very progressive.
Mel Brooks is he's right up there with Kevin Smith for me.
Yeah.
One of my favorite. And Spaceballs has to be one of the best parody movies ever made.
You know, I love Mel Brooks movies. That's one of my least favorites by him, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I prefer History of the World. I prefer now, Young Frankenstein.
It's really horrible now, but Blazing Saddles.
Is one of his best, so good.
So many people would not watch it now.
I fucking love it. It's so good. I remember it's been forever since I watched it, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember this movie. I loved it. And I was dating a girl at the time. I was like, we should watch Blazing Saddles. I completely forgot how bad that movie is.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
We stayed together, but it was so funny, though.
When I hear people say, well, it's racist, I'm like, yes, and you think that the black actor starring in it doesn't realize everything he's doing? It's not racist. It's jokes. It's gaga. It's funny. It's not racist. It's not.
Here's the thing about Blazing Saddles. It is mocking racism.
Exactly.
It's not that it's racist. It's mocking
all
racism.
of it. The star of the movie is a black man.
That's what Mel Brooks does. He mocks our.
What he's doing is he took the setting of the Old West, and back then it's the way it was. Blacks were. Slaves are not allowed in town or whatever.
Yeah.
So he is taking that true fact of history and exploiting it and blowing it up and making it over the top. That's all he's doing. It's not racist.
It's so funny.
It's showing the wild. It's like A Million Ways to Die in the West could have been considered offensive, with stuff. But it's not a racist movie. It's not. It's hilarious. It's again, you just have to put.
There's a difference.
But Young Frankenstein is also amazing.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Spaceballs. I'm just saying, and I also love. Men in Tights.
Oh, Robin Hood Men in Tights is definitely...
Yeah.
Men in Tights and Spaceballs are my two favorites.
My favorite's Blazing Saddles. Straight up. All day.
I think Blazing Saddles is probably his best one. In my opinion.
It is, absolutely.
I don't hate any of his movies, but Blazing Saddles is his best
don't either.
Piece of work.
I'm a little jealous that you have the whole box set.
They're not... I'll have to look at it when I get home, because I think there might not... I don't think Blazing Saddles is in there for some reason, but I'll have to look. I know History of the World's in there, Young Frankenstein's in there, Spaceballs is in there,
But still, despite the fact that, Blazing Saddles mocks racism, when you're first dating a girl and you kind of forget that you're about to expose her to this.
So, was that the last date?
No. We stayed together for a little while.
Oh, well, there you go.
She found it funny. I just was like,
this week.
Oh, I forgot.
I forgot how bad this was.
It's been so long since I've seen this. Oh, shit.
Oopsie.
It's like, whoops. But
it's good stuff.
It's fucking great. I want to show my kids. I think they'll enjoy it.
We're great people. Yeah, what can we say?
But no,
good stuff.
But yeah, it's great. They go through this whole board meeting, and then they have a skit where Jesus Christ is this giant, white, muscular man, and they have him in like an action film, and and he's like, he takes this like wooden crossbow and starts shooting everyone.
So like Jesus and Rambo, that's what's happening.
Well, it ended up being Jesus as Iron Man, because he's like, he dies and then he comes back and he comes out of the thing. He's like, all right, ladies. And he has like the
Tony Stark thing.
The Tony Stark, the arc reactor.
Yes.
But it's a lit up cross. And then he starts shooting out like things.
Oh,
and there's like JC resurrected.
See, people, that's funny.
And they're just like,
funny, come on.
And then they show the board and it's like, see, that's a Jesus I can get behind. That's the Jesus I want.
We have a winner right there. That's
he's I think Paul Scheer, which, do you know who Paul Scheer is?
Yes,
okay.
Yeah.
Paul Scheer is like, white, strong, muscular, exactly like me. I like that. I can see myself in Jesus.
Oh, that's good stuff. I can't wait to watch it.
I enjoyed it.
By the way, real quick, I looked up before we move on to wrestling. I looked it up. The show that I was mentioning with that song, was called The Greatest American Hero. And what happened was the school teacher was on a trip in the desert, and some aliens gave him a suit. The powers were in the suit. So it was only on for 3 seasons. So
only 3 seasons.
Yeah, and being that it was 1981, it could be a lot cheesier than I remember. But I remember it being an entertaining show. So
I just know the song. It's just in the zeitgeist.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. Yeah, that song. That was the title song to the show. So that's All right. Well, do you have any more random shit to talk about? I mean, are we ready to move on to wrestling? Is that what I was supposed to say?
Oh yeah, we talk about wrestling.
This is a wrestling podcast, isn't it?
Oh, one last thing. Since you brought up Kevin Smith.
Okay. Oh, yes, because it was the Dogma, right?
I just introduced my children to Dogma.
And how did that go?
And they liked it.
Hell yeah.
My son really liked it. We just got done recording the podcast about it.
Nice.
I haven't aired it because I haven't edited it and stuff. But he gave it a 9.5, spoiler alert.
And
so he really
10,
liked
I
it.
assume? 10 is your high, I assume?
Yes,
so
9.5 out of 10.
Listen, we talked about Dogma is one of the smartest,
so good.
funniest, it's one of the best movies I think ever made. Like, I don't know.
I love it.
It's such a good fucking movie.
It's so good.
It's so good. And Affleck and Damon in it are just...
Oh my gosh. When they go to movies to take out the people that are worshiping a false idol.
Yeah.
And he makes this little onion like voodoo doll, and he's like, "Oh, I don't believe in voodoo." Then he walks out and then comes back out, and then he's like, "But I do believe in this." Boom, 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 boom. Starts killing everyone.
Everybody. They kill so many people.
Oh yeah. And then Ben Affleck is just like, I believe. What does that even fucking mean? And they're just going through it, and Ben Affleck is telling everybody of their sins and like the horrible things they've done. And then the last one is like so terrible I can't even say it out loud. And then he whispers something to him, and the guy just the face, and then the next thing you see is Matt Damon like, your own son, you sick fuck.
Oh, good stuff. I'm so glad. Well, I'm glad they liked it. See, they're smart kids.
They did. They did it. They laughed.
Yeah. Yes, that's good. Good stuff.
All right. Okay, that's it. I'm done.
Fine.
I'm good.
That's fine. No, we do what we want around here.
We do what we want to do.
Yes, we do. So, let's touch on a little bit of AEW real quick. And I actually like this. Some people are crying, but we have a new faction in AEW. And it's Ruby Soho, Saraya, and Toni Storm, who all, of course, came from WWF. That's E, my bad. And they're calling themselves the Outcasts. And they're actually, like, this almost looks like it's going to be kind of an NWO angle with women.
Oh.
And I'm all for it. Like, I'm
interesting.
digging it. Some people online are like, really? Are they just doing the NWO? No. First of all, they haven't said they're invading, okay? So you can't just call it the NWO because it's 3 people from the WWE in a faction. That's not...
Yeah.
That doesn't make them the NWO people, okay? But I like it. I'm all for it. I mean, they kind of hinted that...
Are they playing themselves as heels or faces?
They're heels. Yes. Ruby Ruby turned. The other two were already... Saraya had already become a heel. I missed it. I suck. I haven't watched as much wrestling as I was. It's hard to keep up. So, but they're all heels now, yes. They are. And actually, someone else who has turned heel is the Black Bull Combat Club. Has turned heel now, too. So, which is interesting, but I'm all for that. Also on Dynamite, you have to go watch it. If you don't watch AEW all the time, that's fine. But please do yourself a favor and look up MJF's Re-Bar Mitzvah from Dynamite, because this is the second time we're talking about Jews, and I couldn't believe some of the stuff that MJF got away with. But I guess if you are Jewish, you can get away with saying that stuff, right? Because he said some things, but besides telling everybody that get over it, we're the chosen one people and you know it. But he also said that he is now Iron Man because he beat Daniel Bryan in the Iron Man match. So, but even I suggest to you, my co-host, to go back and watch MJF's Re-Bar Mitzvah, because MJF is gold. And by the way, MJF has a fan, and I think it's very cool that this guy's a fan. Do you know who's a big MJF fan? The Undertaker.
Should be everyone.
The Undertaker.
Fair enough.
And do you know why Undertaker loves MJF?
Why is that?
Because MJF is always MJF.
Exactly.
MJF doesn't get on TV and tell you all that he's better than you and then get on TikTok and say, hey everyone, you love me, right? No, he gets on TikTok and tells you to fuck off. That is why The Undertaker loves MJF, because MJF stays in character. That's one of The Undertaker's biggest complaints about today.
Kayfabe.
Yeah. You know that at the pay-per-view, I don't think I mentioned this, but MJF threw water on a child at ringside. And it was legit. After the show, they took the kid backstage and let him meet... It was a legit random kid. And they made it up afterwards. They let MJF just do it, and then they took the kid backstage, let him meet some people, gave him free merchandise, sucked up to the mom, but it was legit. MJF threw some fucking water at a kid.
That's great.
And that's why Undertaker is an MJF fan, because MJF is always MJF. Even on, you see it, you follow him on Twitter, he's always MJF. And The Undertaker has mad respect for him, because he always stays in character.
He's always in character, his parents are always in character.
Because that's old school. We all know it's reality, but you should not see the Young Bucks and FTR fight on Dynamite, and then 15 minutes later they're on Instagram sitting at the bar having a beer together. That's not how it was in the old days. Like, you kept that shit kayfabe. Undertaker's always been The Undertaker, until now. By the way, on a quick side note, Undertaker said he will never be... He didn't say he would never be on TV again, but we will never see the Dead Man Undertaker. So basically, if we see him again, it'll be biker. It's always going to be the Biker Taker or some version like that.
Yeah.
He said he will never wear the duster or the hat again. He's done. The Dead Man is dead. So that version of the Undertaker is not going to come back. So that might be another reason he was the American Badass just recently.
I know, it just made, to me, it just... that
the other Undertaker would have made more sense, but... He doesn't want that to bring that character back. So
I know. I'm just saying that
it would have
made more sense with Bray Wyatt.
Now, I already told my co-host here I did not get to see Raw or SmackDown, but I can still touch on a few things. I saw the video from Raw, and here we go. I've been complaining about this match from the beginning, but there was a big botch between Omos and Brock. They had a face-off in the ring. They were trying to build Omos up. He put his hand over Brock's face, and he was supposed to just take Brock and, throw him over the rope. He didn't. Send Brock with enough momentum, and Brock did not go over the rope. And then Brock went over the rope, too late. And
jeez.
The crowd, you just heard the crickets. I just think this is going to be bad, unless Brock just beats the shit out of him. It was a bad botch.
Jeez.
So, because we are getting closer to Mania, we'll talk about some official matches in a minute, but I have some bad news that I don't want to be true, but even my inside source is saying that this is the rumor. I don't know if you read, a couple days ago, they tried to say Bray's dealing with an injury, and he's been pulled off the house shows and blah, blah, blah.
No.
That's what they said, but it's actually sounds like it's worse than injuries. It sounds like already we're having creative trouble with Bray again. So basically, Bray's not wrestling because he's not agreeing with creative, and we may not get our WrestleMania match, and Bray could be done again already.
Oh, jeez.
Now, these are the rumors going backstage. I was hoping that the last time it was Vince, but maybe not. But let's think about it. As much as I love Bray, what's been the best parts of his return? When he first came back and the Pitch Black match, after that, though, it's been kind of, it's been more Uncle Howdy than Bray. I mean, I hope it's not true. It's not confirmed, but this is what's going around.
I'm curious what he wants and what they don't want.
That he's not injured, but there's a creative issue going on.
I wonder what the issue is.
I don't know. That's why part of me when he left thought, maybe he should just go to AEW, only because you get a little more creative freedom. But I was happy he was back, and I hope I hope they figure it out. That's all I can say. They have not said the match is off at Mania. They're still advertising that we're going to see Brock and Bray, so maybe they're working us too. I mean, it could be a work.
Could be.
That still happens these days, not as much, but sure. Just like when they said the Usos couldn't be in Canada, and then look what happened, they showed up. So it could be a work. I hope, whatever it is, I hope it works out. I don't want Bray to be gone already.
Oh yeah, me neither.
He just came back. I don't want to lose him.
No.
Another Mania rumor is they're still trying to get Austin to have a Mania match. He's already turned down 2. They offered him a match with Brock. He didn't want to do it. I don't blame him. I know Brock's a pro, and I know Austin wrestled last year, but I don't think he wants to be in the ring with Brock. I've heard nothing but Brock's safe. But the bumps you have to take, though, in a Brock Lesnar match, I think that would be too much. They offered him Roman when The Rock couldn't do it, and he just basically was like we've always said. He basically said, I'm not a full-time guy. Why would I be in a world title match? That makes no sense.
That's
fair. If Roman didn't have a belt,
that's fair.
But why are you going to put me in a... Yeah, and we say that all the time. So now the rumor is they're going to see if he'll fight LA Knight at WrestleMania. So we'll see. It's a rumor. We still don't have a tag team match confirmed for Mania yet, and they're still teasing Cody or Dominic and Ray. Dominic challenged Ray to a match, and Ray, of course, said... No, I'll never fight my son. So
right.
We'll see. I say it's going to happen.
It's probably
especially when Ray said he wanted his retirement match to be a match against his son at WrestleMania. I mean,
that would be the hell of a way to do it.
And he's going in the Hall of Fame, so I'm assuming this is going to. Unfortunately, this is going to be the end of Ray, I believe, because he's only, by the way, the 3rd wrestler to go into the Hall of Fame while he's still active. So Ric Flair was the other one, and I can't remember.
Was it Undertaker?
Yes.
Was he active when he was?
Did he go in? Yeah, because he went into their No, he didn't go until after the pandemic. So no, it wasn't. I can't remember who the other guy was, but Flair was one of them, and now Ray's going to join that club. So there you go. Real quick question: I'm putting you on the spot. You see, I'm sure you saw on our Facebook page. I've been sharing big WrestleMania moments, matches, whatever. And we're getting close to Mania, so just the question of what's one of your favorite WrestleMania matches or moments off the top of your head?
Unfortunately, I've already brought this up on the show, but Shawn Undertaker is one of my favorites.
And I'm assuming you mean the first one?
The first one. They're both great.
They are both great, but I still think the second one wasn't.
Undertaker versus Triple H were also great. Both of them were also amazing.
Yeah, and to me, that's the best 4 matches in a row you've ever seen. That whole series. Shawn and Taker were better as far as the wrestling aspect. Triple H and Taker story-wise.
Yeah. I can't wait till we get to these.
Yeah, me neither. And, I could pick a Taker match, too, because we actually did it when we did the Undertaker special. I picked Punk and Taker, and I know I hate Punk now, but that was a hell of a...
Oh, it was great.
It was such a good match. And it had a great story because of the fact Paul Bearer just died, and Taker had Punk had the urn, and
the story was great.
It was so, it was good stuff. And of course, I think you saw that I recently shared Edge was actually somebody that was supposed to break the streak.
Yeah, because that was streak versus streak. Because Edge was undefeated too when they faced, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Edge had an undefeated streak at WrestleMania.
He just felt that
and they lost it to Undertaker's undefeated streak.
So I'm pretty excited about Mania being around the corner. We are missing, though, 3 big stars. It's Mania season, and they're all out due to injuries, and it's AJ, Randy Orton, and Big E.
Yeah.
And, of course, with Big E and Orton, we don't even know if they're coming back.
Yeah.
Orton, I think, is more of a possibility. Big E's basically said... Big E amazes me, because he's basically said, if I can't wrestle again, that's okay. Because I'm still alive, life is good, it'll be alright.
Well, that was a scary injury.
It was scary, it was, and I think he's just glad to AJ's going to be back. AJ got injured, he's going to miss WrestleMania, but AJ will be back. But I really miss Orton too, though.
Yeah.
Randy Orton's just one of the best. So.
He is good. He's good.
They did make official on Raw. We're getting Finn versus Edge in a Hell in a Cell. We're getting a Hell in a Cell at Mania, baby.
Hell yeah.
And there's a real good chance we're going to get the Demon. Finn kind of
I heard that we were getting the Demon.
Well, they didn't confirm it. They didn't
heel Demon.
They didn't confirm it, but Finn did drop this little line about my demons may come out. So I think we are going to get the Demon, so I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
So that's official. We got Seth and Logan, Brock and Omos, Bianca's taking on Asuka, Charlotte's taking on Rhea, the 6-man tag with Damage Control versus Trish, Lita, and Becky, and of course Cena and Theory's now official, and Roman and Cody. So there you go.
What's the date of WrestleMania?
That should be the first weekend of April, right? I believe. Cool.
Will be the first and the second?
Or it's the third and the fourth.
April,
like that.
It's first and the second is Saturday and Sunday, or the 8th and the 9th.
I believe it's the first and the second. I do. Yeah.
If that's the case, I don't have my kids. It means I could watch it live.
Oh, yes, April 1st and 2nd. Ooh. It is April 1st and 2nd,
So, maybe you should come over and we should watch it together.
Interesting. Oh, look, he invited me over.
I mean, after work.
Right.
Until 7-ish, but...
Well, it don't even start till 7:30, not the real stuff, so...
Yeah.
All that other, kickoff stuff does. Alright, well, we've been rambling a while. So, before we do our video game review, did you have anything else?
Nope.
I just cut you off all the time. I'm like, fuck him, I do what I do.
Fuck me. Yeah.
So that means it's time for our Chic Tweet of the Week.
Yay.
So,
tell me who's he calling a son of a bitch this weekend?
doesn't he always do that? First of all, of course, I always have a runner-up. So here's the runner-up because it's always great, and you're going to laugh at this. I know you are because we kind of referenced this. But anyway, he answered a question on Twitter, which is always the best. And somebody tweeted it, or said, this was a tweet, remix a movie title to include an athlete. Remix a movie title to include an athlete. The Sheik's response was, Cocaine Snake. We just talked about this last week. It's like the Sheik read our mind. Cocaine Snake.
So he stole my joke.
He stole your joke.
He's listening to the podcast.
Maybe
did I say it on the podcast?
I feel
like I did.
We did last week. Yes.
I did.
Because of Bulldog.
He stole my damn joke.
Well, maybe you should say something to him.
Oh my gosh. I should call out Iron Sheik now.
You should call him out right now. He'll just call you a jabroni. He's all he's going to do.
I would love to be called a jabroni by Iron Sheik.
Speaking of that, so here is the actual Sheik Tweet of the Week, and it is, what's the difference between me and you? You were a dumb son of a bitch jabroni, and I'm a legend. So there you go.
That's all he has to say to me. That's pretty true. I'm a dumb jabroni, and he's a fucking legend.
I mean, we're still working on it, right? We sent him some love the other day. It was his birthday, and we tried to send him out.
Fuck him for stealing my joke.
But he did steal your bit, which is not cool.
He did steal my fucking joke. Sheik. I definitely said it was during a match talk.
Yes, because
I was talking about Jake the Snake, and I called him Cocaine Snake.
And he stole it from you. Can you believe
stole my fucking joke.
Wow. We might have a showdown coming up real soon.
That Iron Sheik is a son of a bitch.
Oh, man! If he shows up to put you in a camel clutch, I'm not going to be able to help you.
He's what, like 90? I can take him.
I don't know. I think he could still take you.
I'll beat him down with my walker.
Oh, he'll have the assistant help him.
Yeah.
If you're going to get jumped, maybe you should call the Marty Jannetty School of Jobbers to help you out. Get some backup. You could have 20 Marines here in 5 minutes.
I don't know if I want to go that far. Marty Jannetty might make him disappear.
He might.
I don't want that. I like Iron Sheik.
He's going to deny it after he admits it.
I just want Iron Sheik to call me a dumbass jabroni.
Exactly. He wants that heat from you, Sheik. Bring it on. Bring it on.
I'll take that heel heat.
Take that heel heat, baby. Okay, so it's time for our video game review. Are you ready?
I just want to say that I've got a movie title.
He's
changed with a person's name.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
The Rock.
Okay. Oh. I mean, technically,
The Rock in The Rock.
Technically, he did it. It was real easy. This son of a bitch over here, this guy, you gotta wake up early, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Well,
to get over on him. That's good. I fucking hate you sometimes. The Rock. And then he just comes up with this shit off the top of his head, just so you know.
You're right, I do.
Just ad-lib. Like, I'm over here looking at my notes, he's over here sipping coffee. This is what it is. I mean, to be fair, I come up with shit off the top of my head, too. I just have to, I'm old, and I can't remember things, so here we go. It's time for our video game review. It's the last one of the year. We did it.
Hey, woo!
Another one that was kind of hard to find. I finally found some info on it, but it was Super Fire Pro Wrestling X Premium. That's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful.
It's a mouthful. It came out in 1996, and it was released on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. We watched some clips, and the first thing we noticed, I was actually talking to him while we were trying to watch these clips, and I mentioned that it said all the wrestlers had made-up names, but you could recognize them by their attire and such. And then we start watching it, and they had their actual names. Like,
yeah, the person that we watched the video of clearly were allowed to edit the names,
yeah,
so they just edited all their names to be their actual names.
Yeah, because they were supposed to have, like LOD was on there, Chris Benoit, Ric Flair, all sorts of, and he went and named everybody their actual.
Yeah, Animal or Hawk was supposed to be Overdose or some shit like that,
that we saw like before. Yeah, so we dug deeper and was like, wow, you gotta remember this is 1996, so all this stuff I'm about to tell you about this is pretty impressive. They already had a roster of 150 wrestlers, which is a lot already. They had a creation studio, and you could add up to 70 more wrestlers.
That's insane.
My co-host here knows a lot more about video games and the way they operate and everything than I do, but for 1996, that's
impressive as fuck.
Yeah.
On Super Nintendo? On the Super Nintendo, yes. That is impressive as fuck.
And to have over 500 moves to choose from to make your movesets is a lot.
I am curious what their original names they had for those people.
I know, and I can't find
Was
a roster.
Hulk Hogan Steroid Mastered? Right. Or something like that? Or I Steal the Spotlight?
Was Oh, wow. This guy. That's good stuff, though. I Steal the Spotlight.
I Steal the Spotlight?
Every top guy does. You just don't realize it until you go back and watch it. I'm just saying. Shawn Michaels. It's just, there was something about Hulk Hogan moments that made him annoying. Hogan must pose. But Shawn shakes that ass for a good,
we've been watching
15 minutes.
2 years of wrestling, 95, 96. Shawn Michaels has only been the champion for half of that. He hasn't been, and he just lost the title.
Right.
That's
what people don't remember is Hogan didn't have a lot of runs. They were longer. Like Hogan wasn't champion 80 times. It may seem like it. But it was just his runs.
He just never lost the damn title.
He just had it all the time. Yeah, he didn't. They were. It's not like he was champion 80 times. It was just So from the footage, if anybody out there has ever played the Fire Pro Wrestling series, it's the standard Fire Pro system, but we noticed that you could change arenas. It actually had a lot of options.
You got that choose. You could even customize what referee
you wanted. We were watching some footage, and it showed you could have submission match, or a standard 3-count match. I saw an option where you could turn tags on or off, which I assume would make it a tornado match.
They had a fucking fatal 4-way elimination match.
They did, because we were watching the footage.
Which I don't think we've seen in wrestling. Well, we've seen a fatal 4-way tag team match.
But we haven't seen it done like this, because it was not... And the 4-way actually looked like a 4-way. It wasn't like on WrestleMania, the arcade game, where the 4-way didn't really... It was like 3-on-1. It wasn't that. It wasn't a handicap. It was actually...
it was fatal 4-way
elimination match. It mentioned that in the creation studios that there were already everything was already there, so you could make Sting, Bret Hart, and a British Bulldog, and like we saw Bret Hart in the game, and you would have never known somebody had to create them. Like it was, the sprites were still 2D, but for 1996, just the option alone made this. Actually, you were like, man, I wish I could play this now, because we talk about this a lot, and this man's...
Well, I more meant, I wish I would have got to play it back then.
Yeah, back then.
Yes. I can create my own characters now on...
That was the point I was getting to, though, is he loves to create. It's not just, that he podcasts. He loves to create stuff. and he'll create all sorts of things on the wrestling game. I'm the lazy guy that takes like the template, throws a mask on it. I'm like, there's my wrestler, because I don't have the patience.
I sometimes do that when I get to like wrestler number 20.
Yeah, so if you would have had this time, this would have been right up your alley.
Oh my gosh, every single one of those people would be created characters.
But there were guys on here, like, you got to remember this time, like Chris Benoit was on this game, but he was Pegasus when he was over in Japan. Eddie Guerrero's on this game, but he was Black Mask in Japan, so his face is covered up. But somebody actually went through and gave everybody their actual names, so that was pretty cool. I would have played it. I've been a fan of Fire Pro for a long time. I'd never played this though. It was also actually the last Fire Pro Wrestling game on the Super Nintendo. So
I have a feeling this is going to be our last Super Nintendo wrestling game that we're going to talk about.
Probably, and I think we're going to get more big games in '97 because we only had like 2 that were legit. A WCW game and a WWE game, and everything else has been Japan imports. Yeah. So, but we're going to start.
'97 is going to be more 64 and PlayStation games.
Yeah, some of the good ones. Some of the good ones we'll actually remember playing, which will make it a little better.
Absolutely. But no, this was It was cool. It was obviously at the end of the Super Nintendo's life cycle.
Yeah.
But it's impressive. I mean, Create a Player was not a thing until probably, whenever we get to WCW versus NWO.
Which might be next year, but it could be.
Because I don't think they had the Create a Player on Versus the World, did they?
And you definitely couldn't
Maybe World Tour?
You definitely couldn't change every wrestler's name. You couldn't do all that. That was definitely
maybe versus, because I know they made WCW Versus the World Tour.
Yeah.
That was an updated
version of
that. Might have Create a Player, I don't know.
That might. And I think that'll be next year.
And that might be like next year,
yeah. Alright. Well, are we done?
Yeah, there wasn't much to... I mean, it was cool.
It was cool to see, but we couldn't... Unfortunately, I couldn't find the roster. I actually had to go to Wikipedia doesn't even have anything about it except this is the name of it and here's when it came out. You know, the info I did get came from the Retro Gamer website. So.
I feel like they probably gave them fake names with the intention of, because you could edit it, people were just going to edit it to be...
And now, even today, I don't think you could just, because the Road Warriors have their makeup and everything, you can give them fake names, but they didn't change anything else. It'd be a little harder to pull that off today, I think, because there'd still be copyright issues with, face paint and...
Right.
Sure, you could make Ric Flair not put the RF on his trunks and call him something else and get away with that, but when you got guys that have such specific, it was easier back then.
You say that... But have you messed with the customization in these games?
Oh, well, you can make whatever you want to customize. Yeah, that's different. You're making it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You can literally...
But LOD, though, was on their roster already, is what I was pointing out. That wasn't a creation thing.
Right, I know, and I understand that.
But yeah, you're right. You can make anybody. You can have CM Punk on your game. You can have anybody you want on your game.
Yeah, on
Frankenstein, Spider-Man.
On my WWE 2K22, it's people have AEW wrestlers on there, and they're pretty faithful recreations because they allow you nowadays to actually upload pictures that you take off the internet.
Yeah. The only one you can't get away with that is Benoit.
Really?
Yeah, people have tried it and they get banned. You cannot do Benoit's actual face, believe it or not. That's So
well.
Wonder why. Dark side of the ring.
Even on the game, they don't want you to have a murderer on there. You could probably make Charles Manson.
You can still make him. You could make Benoit. But you can't use an actual
face
scan. Yeah, you can't do the face.
Oh yeah, I don't mess with the face scan.
Yeah. So anyway,
I tried to do it with me. It was weird.
All right, so we are ready. We are getting ready to get to our in your house. So you got to remember we talked a few episodes back about how Vader was supposed to be in the title picture, got a big push. Sean wasn't going to let it happen. They had already named this In Your House, It's Time, and they just went ahead and kept that. Even though it's Bret Hart versus Sid, it's time. Let's check it out. Alright, so we start off with a video package with the advertisement of our main event tonight, which is Bret versus Sid. And I think that even in that package you could tell we're going to see a lot of changes, not just in the stars we see, but the graphics, presentation, and all that. That video package was kind of a little more advanced than what we've been seeing.
Yeah.
The pink overlay was kind of cool. They made it all like pink shadowed, you know. Basically, I'm just saying we're going to get into better graphics, better wrestlers, better everything. Like, we're really excited to be jumping.
Well, we're getting to the heyday.
And we're going to creep into
wrestling.
Attitude Era and everything. Yeah, this is going to get good. So.
Creeping. I think we're
creeping. So creep.
We're racing.
Yeah.
Creeping on the outlaw.
Little TLC for you kids out there.
I like me some TLC.
TLC was so good.
R.I.P. Left Eye Lopez.
Oh. And don't fuck with her because she will burn your house down.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Andre Rison, the football player. Yeah. Burned the mansion down. And admitted it. That said Texas Balls. Hell yeah, I did. He cheated on me and burned his house down. We're getting off track anyway.
Nothing like a woman scorn, right?
Woo, telling you. So after our little package, we get our introduction, and we have Vince, King, and JR on commentary. We go to our opening match, and I noticed the house set's back. Which we haven't had that with
the house set.
We haven't had that like the last 3, but since this all had to be changed and it wasn't Vader themed, they were like, I guess we got to break the house back out.
you kind of wonder what was it going to be.
True. I mean, I know
just
it was supposed
giant
to be
Vader mask.
Dude, it'd be sick. I'm telling you, I shared that on our page the other day. There was a photo of Vader with his helmet on in front of an ice sculpture of that mask. I don't know. I'm just a big Vader fan. But anyway. And we get our first match, and I know if I'm putting on a pay-per-view and I need a match to kick it off, the match I think of is Leif Cassidy versus Flash Funk. I know that's what By the way, I pointed out that Leif came out. Now, he still has the rocker gear on, but they did mention him as one half of the Rockers. He didn't come out to the rocker music, so I went ahead and looked it up, and Marty's gone again.
Marty's gone.
At this point, yes. Marty asked for his release. He didn't like the creative direction that things are going.
I didn't like that we weren't rocking out enough as a rocker.
Why don't I get a tag team title run?
Mm-hmm.
We're better than them fucking pig farmers.
I mean...
He's not wrong.
He's not.
He's not. So, and actually not too long after this, Leif is going to leave and go back to ECW, and then when he comes back, of course, we'll have Head.
That's
when
right.
He comes back.
That is what everybody wants.
Everybody wants Head.
Everybody wants it.
My thing with this, Flash Funk was another guy that came from WCW, so he's doing that hype. There were some good spots in this, even for Leif as well. Some good high spots. But I think you pointed out when we kept talking about Mero, like this crowd's just not, that's not enough for them. That's not their thing, I guess. Like they didn't really care about this match that much.
No, I mean...
And I think it's the same, it's a lot of, I always point out character all the time. People are probably tired of that. It wasn't a horrible match, but the problem is I don't care about Flash Funk or Leif Cassidy.
And also it looks like...
Wasn't this more of like a Monday Night Raw match feel? Like, nothing about this said pay-per-view.
Kinda, yeah.
That's part of what it is. Like, it was fine, but it wasn't, you know.
Well, one thing they normally do when a wrestler, like, breaks off from a tag team, they normally try to rebrand them, do something different with them to give them more of a solo. They didn't do that.
No, and they didn't.
Leif Cassidy looked exactly like he did when he was at the Rockers, kinda.
He got new music, but it was the same rocker outfit. Maybe he grew some facial hair a little bit or something. And they never mentioned the Rockers. They just said, well, Leif's been a tag team wrestler, but he's ready to go on his own.
Yeah, he's ready to trying to venture off and run.
Marty needed cocaine and underage girls again, so here we are.
Poor Flash Funk. I mean, black guy. Black people liked the funk back in the 70s, right? Let's just go with Flash
and
Funk.
And the Funkettes.
The Funk.
And they're doing this jive dancing all the way. Gosh, can we get any more?
It was very stereotypical.
Oh, wow.
That Shooting Stars press, though, was pretty damn good.
It was, and there were a couple spots. I keep calling him Alice. No, Leif did a plancha dive out onto the outside.
Yeah.
So it was a decent match. There were good high spots, but to me, it just was not a pay-per-view match. It was fine.
This is in your house and not...
It is in your house. It's not a big pay-per-view. So whatever. And they mentioned, I thought it was weird, they mentioned it was Flash's first singles match, so he hasn't wrestled a singles match since Survivor Series, which isn't that long, but I wonder if he's been on TV just, again, we don't get to watch Raw and stuff. Maybe he was in a tag match, or maybe he's just been running his mouth. I don't know. But it's fine, it's whatever, and I'm going to give it to, I need a new rocker. to a new record.
All right, I'm gonna go with. I thought that was an all right. I'm gonna go with 2.5 stereotypical gimmicks.
There you go.
Stereotypical gimmicks.
Nice.
Better than the lame gimmick that didn't even happen. I mean,
right.
Leif Cassidy's still Leif Cassidy with no character, really.
There you go. Yeah.
So yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. It's whatever.
All right. Well, let's see what's next on this In Your House.
All right. So, I'm so professional, am I not? Before our next match, we get a commercial for the Rumble because that's what's next, and we love a good Royal Rumble.
Oh, you do.
The '97 Royal Rumble should be a good one. So, our next match is a tag team title match, and it's the bad guy, Razor Ramon and Diesel, against the tag team champions Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith.
Emphasis on bad.
By the way, I want to bring this up because I feel bad since these guys are here. I felt like we should do this because we've mentioned 800 times that Glenn Jacobs or Kane is Diesel. The guy who played Razor Ramon, his name was Rick Wagner, and he was from Canada. And he actually had wrestled, but he's been a wrestler for quite a few years to this point, but he's most famous for being
the fake
Razor. Yeah, that's his. And after he retired from wrestling, he was a motivational speaker, but he died in 2019 of a heart attack.
Oh. And
it's crazy how many wrestlers. It's had a sudden heart attack too. But you go back and look at the history, it's amazing how many guys have had heart attacks. I mean, that's what took Eddie. That's what took Brian Pillman, but there might have been a little help with Brian's. I think Rick Rude even had a heart attack, like several wrestlers. Crazy. So Rick was the brave. We were talking during the match. I was like, these guys had to be hated. Like, it had to be rough leaving the arena. Like, being fake Razor and fake Diesel could not have been easy. But despite that, this was a good tag team match. I didn't think I would say that about the fake Razor and Diesel, but it was actually a good tag team match.
Well, we already know Kane's
a good wrestler.
Wrestler.
Owen's a good wrestler. Davey's a good wrestler. And I mentioned during it that, the guy that had this task of being Razor actually studied enough to know all the little, movements. And he over-exaggerated them, but I'm, starting to like fake Razor. It's the point, yeah. He would do the same things that Hall always did, but he over-exaggerated everything. But it was classic tag team wrestling. About halfway through the match, we got a couple of mask guys came out. I'm not going to even attempt to try to say what their names were, but it was a couple guys from AAA. So apparently this is a point where Vince was trying to work with Mexico. Yeah. It was Serpentinko or something. I don't know. It was Little Co and Big Co. I don't know. There were some mask guys coming out ripping their shirts off, flexing
Big
their
Co,
muscles.
Little Co.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah.
Epico, Primo. Those were real wrestlers anyway. And not even 2 minutes after those guys finally left, here comes Stone Cold.
Why you gotta say it like that?
Stone Cold Steve Austin, man. It's Stone Cold. By the way, it won't be when you listen to this, but as we record, it is 3/16 day.
That's right.
So make sure you crack one open for Stone Cold, baby.
Leave a beer out.
I mentioned that Stone Cold's popular enough that we got 5 new followers today on TikTok.
Nice.
And I say it's because I posted the Stone Cold and Steve Austin video. It was Stone Cold Day, baby. Yep. We'll take it.
You got to leave some Steve Weisers and pork rinds out for Stone Cold.
I still want to try his new beer that's actually more like just a normal beer. It's an American lager instead of that. We've had that Stone Cold beer talk. You guys got to try it too. It was kind of disappointing, but it's fine. Anyway, technically both these teams were heels. Obviously, though, the fans wanted Owen and Bulldog to win because of the situation. But there was way much more crowd reaction in this match. Razor and Diesel were doing all the classic, I consider it classic tag wrestling anyway, but it was heelish because they had Owen in the corner and Diesel had him by his singlet, so that way he couldn't get away. He was trapped in the corner. They were doing the double teaming. But anyway, when Austin came out, man, Bulldog fucking attacked him right away. He literally was in the middle of a pin and rolled out of the fucking ring and jumped on Austin. The match wasn't thrown out because Austin never touched Bulldog.
No.
So it was not interference. It was not. Bulldog literally went out there and started whooping on Stone Cold's ass.
It's just Stone Cold annoying him.
Yeah. We don't watch everything. We talk about that all the time. And apparently there's been some teases of a little feud between Bulldog and Stone Cold. So that's where that comes from. But overall, I thought it was a good tag team match, even with all the hoorah and hoopla. I love the crowd was into it. Owen was getting his ass, handed to him, and the crowd was cheering, doing the old classic, clap for him to tag. He finally did get the hot tag. And the ending I thought was cool. Did you like the ending? I thought the ending was done very well.
It was.
It was Razor quote. I'm doing quotations so you can't see it. Razor went for a Razor's Edge on the Bulldog. The ref was distracted. And Owen came in and did a spin kick, and then the Bulldog just flipped over with the momentum and got the pin. After was interesting though, right? It was a little
interesting.
We don't watch everything, and they've been talking about Owen and Bulldog have been not getting along so well. So they're celebrating after the match. Stone Cold comes out of nowhere and he clips Bulldog's knee, and Owen just kind of...
And then continues to stomp a mud hole in his head.
And Owen took his sweet whole time.
Yeah, he just let me gingerly put these titles down.
I have my titles and my slammies.
One second.
Yeah, the refs...
Let me place them down gingerly.
The refs saved the Bulldog.
Yeah.
Go figure. We were shocked anyway. To be honest, I don't remember a lot about Fake Razor and Fake Diesel, and the fact they actually gave him a title match shows you where the tag division's at right now, right? Yeah. The New Rockers are over. The Smoking Guns are probably done by this point, so they're like, well, no one wants to see the Pig Farmers again, so...
No.
You guys are... And I didn't want to see another Godwin's match. I'm good, so... Yeah, but a good ending. It was very interesting that Owen was just like, I'll be there in 1 second, hold on. Let me tie my boots. I'm coming.
No, are you done?
Are you okay, Davey? Davey, are you okay? Are you okay, Davey? Maybe Owen is a smooth criminal. Maybe that's what's Oh, yeah. Indeed. So, definitely better than the kickoff match. I'm always partial to tag matches anyway, as long as they're good. But and I kind of want to give it a little more than maybe it should get just because it was Fake Diesel and Razor. I mean, and it was a good match, and they got the crowd into it. So, isn't necessarily. I'm gonna go 3 Razor's Edges. But we didn't get to see a Razor's Edge.
I'm gonna go with 316.
Love it. But see, you also gave it a 3 because it was a good match. Even if you take
I gave it a 316.
You did give it a 316.
3.16
because it's 316 day, baby. Don't forget to have a beer for Stone Cold.
Yep.
Because Stone Cold. Well, we got to see him too, and that was one of my favorite. He had on the vest.
Oh, I should mention, if you're going to leave beer out for Stone Cold, make sure it's on ice.
Yeah.
Steve Weiser, Steve doesn't want to break through your window.
No, he does not.
And drink a warm beer. He wants it on ice.
No warm beer.
So just put a bucket out there with some ice, beer in the middle. He'll get it.
We don't know.
Throw some jerky there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he wants any. Maybe some pork rinds. I don't know. You don't want
pork rinds.
You don't want cookies. That's not
pork rinds
or some pretzels. I don't know.
Some beer nuts.
That's what I'm saying is bar snacks seem the way to go. You don't want to just send out like cookies for Stone Cold.
Absolutely. He's not Santa Claus. He don't want no cookies.
He don't want
cookies and milk. He wants beer and beer nuts.
Beer, baby. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Well, shall we see what's next?
We shall.
All right, so before our next match, well, actually, the next thing we get, I guess, is our American Online shot. AOL, baby. And it's the Nation of Domination, and they got a new member.
Yeah.
And when I think Nation, I think Crush.
I don't.
I actually got to admit, though, because, I like to say that I'm like Mr. Wrestling Knowledge. I didn't remember Crush being on the Nation pre-Rock. I thought Crush was...
Post-Rock.
But he's actually the first official member that's a wrestler besides Farouk.
Huh.
Because everybody else is just the white boys
Rappers.
that rap, the warrior, the other guys that are dressed like warriors.
Yeah, the Nation's a lot whiter than I remember.
Yes, it is. But maybe,
it's a little lighter.
But they're dominating. They're a little light, but they're dominating, apparently. So they show that, and then we actually get Vince in the ring when we come back, and he's going to do an interview, and it's the returning Ahmed Johnson.
Hooray!
The crowd popped though, didn't they?
They did. They liked him a lot better than I do.
Or I do, or Vince eventually did. That was one of those size things again. If they're big, they can be a wrestler. Nah, not always. Speaking of that, this is random, but this just popped in my head. You know what I think Omos is going to turn out being?
What's that?
The Great Khali. Just because you're giant doesn't mean you can wrestle. Anyway. When I saw that botch on Raw, I kind of thought about Khali.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when they first brought him in, they protected him because he just destroyed people. But then when he actually had to wrestle, it was ugly. Yeah. Anyway. So we had this... there's no real details. He interviewed Ahmed. Ahmed talked shit about Farouk. The Nation came out, but they were up in the crowd, and they just talked back and forth about how they're going to fight later. I'm going to get you. Going to get you, Farouk. Farouk. So after we get through all this, then we get a package showing the feud between Triple H and Mark Merrow, even all the way back to when he came out the one time with Sable.
Well, yeah.
Which was a while ago.
That was the whole story. Is
the whole premise of this.
Mark Merrow stole Sable from...
And then Triple H stole the Intercontinental title.
Stole?
With a little help from Mr. Perfect. They showed that in the package.
Won it fair and square.
Yeah, with a little advice from Mr. Perfect.
Advice.
How's that? And then he
advice is fine.
Threw Mr. Perfect to the side once he got the title.
Well, you know.
Yeah, no. You got to do what you got to do.
It was a perfect turn on.
Yeah.
Wait, turn on?
Turn on. The perfect turn on was when Sable came out.
Ew.
I don't say a lot about Sable, but this outfit was,
Sable-rific?
Yeah. I think she was like, Undertaker, let me show you how to wear leather. This is how you do it, baby.
This is how you do it.
Because she didn't look like Gene Simmons. She kind of looked like Pam Anderson in that movie, Barbed Wire.
Barbed Wire.
Yeah. This
is how we do it.
Only if you can deliver an F5, baby. I'm just saying. That's what she does these days. So anyway, our next match, obviously, is Mark Merrow versus Triple... Oh, during the package, which was narrated by Todd Pettengill, he referred to him as Triple H.
He did.
That was our first... He's still going by Hunter Hearst Helmsley, but the point is, we had our first Triple H reference.
Oh my.
He did call him Triple H. So
he did.
That was kind of cool. You noticed that? And that was a cool little thing.
Yeah.
They didn't ever call him Triple H on commentary, but still, we're getting those teases. It's hard when we know we're so close. He's not the game yet. Not at all. But, man, what a match, though, right? Dude, come on. Triple H is Triple H, and Mark Merrow again, another great match. I think what really happened is, you let Brock fuck your wife. No, I'm joking. That don't happen until later. That actually didn't happen until they both leave. Sable comes back and Merrow doesn't. And that's when the whole Brock thing happened, so... whatever. So there were a lot of... you can't even cover all these spots. They fought inside, they fought outside. There were two great shots where Triple H set Merrow into the steps. There was one point where he was outside and Merrow was going to attack him, and of course Triple H grabbed Sable, pulled her in front of him, and then pushed her into Merrow. That's perfectly okay, right? To use a woman as a shield.
Well, she said she wanted to be with Merrow, so he was just giving her what she wants.
Oh, I get it.
He was being a gentleman. He was just
trying to help her get to Merrow. That's what he was doing?
Yes, he was being a gentleman.
Both of them down. I don't know if that's... Do you think the judge would look at it that way?
What judge?
The judge. Well, there isn't one, but if there was a judge, I think you'd need some hush money. Because I'm pretty much sure that was assault. I'm pretty sure that was a little bit of assault. I don't know if that's okay, but hey, what do I know? I just do a podcast. So what do I know? Another great spot was Merrow had the Hunter in the corner, and he got up and he was doing the classic punching, and the crowd was counting. And Triple H just basically picked him up and dropped his fucking face on the turnbuckle.
As you do.
That was a nice spot.
As one does.
As one does. You got to do what you do to win. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
There was another spot in the match where Hunter was just like pounding the piss out of Merrow, and Earl tried to break it up. Earl happened to the referee, and Triple H pushed him. And so Earl did the whole... I love seeing... There's nothing better than seeing a heel that's 3 times the size of a ref cower into the corner when the ref's like, you better stop, I'm the referee. Or Earl's like pushing his shirt. And you're just watching, like, if Triple H wanted to, buddy, like, game over. He could just tune or pedigree your ass, and you wouldn't wake up till next pay-per-view. So I don't know if it's still great, though, right? That's classic. And Hunter played it off like he was actually worried about, getting disqualified.
Right.
You could have kept your belt if you got disqualified, Hunter. I'm just saying.
That's true.
Yeah. I would have just, I would have lived for it. Mero hit his nice spin around move again that we talk about almost every time, where he flips positions on the rope, does the back moonsault thing.
Yes.
He tried to hit his wild thing. And Triple H used the ref. Jesus. He pushed Earl Hebner into the ropes, and it knocked Mero down, and he got the old classic.
Do what you gotta do.
Oh, that's it? Do what you gotta do? I thought you were going to say something like he thought he saw Earl's shoe was untied or something, and he had to...
I would never make
this?
some kind of suggestion like that.
Oh, I must be confused.
He was just a little dizzy, and it was an accident.
Here comes the shtick. That's what I was waiting for. He's like, I would never do that, and then you literally did it. This is what I'm working with.
What?
You hear this over here? What?
I only speak the truth.
Because the truth shall set you free. Yes. That's the truth, folks, and you know it. So they end up fighting back. Or actually, there's a spot where Earl took the ref bump, and that's when we know shit always gets good. When there's a ref bump, that's when it's about to go down.
Oh, yeah.
Triple H grabbed the Intercontinental title and was actually going to use it on Mero, and Mero stopped him. And then Mero used that same move that busted open Steve Austin's lip to pin Hunter. And he had like a 10 count, but Earl was out. So by the time Earl woke up...
And he was using the tights.
Now listen.
You whore.
Normally I would argue... But you could see it clearly, and I don't know if he meant to do it, but Mero was holding the tights. I think he had to hold the tights because he knew the ref was down. And you didn't have a lot. You had to keep Hunter in place.
I don't know. I think Mark Mero was trying to show that he's not really into Sable. And he needed to pull down those tights.
I don't see nothing wrong
with a little bump and grind.
As long as they're over age. Just saying.
I don't know. Consent is also a thing.
Consent's normally a good idea, too.
Yeah,
Let's make sure they're old enough and they consent and they're not your daughter or your sister. I'm just saying. That would be my suggestions. I learned that when I went to the Martin Jannetty School of Jobbers.
Oh, Jesus. I mean...
She's not my daughter!
She's not my daughter!
Oh, boy.
It's okay.
All right. And let's see. So then they end up... somehow Earl got knocked out again. There had to be 2 ref bumps.
Things happen.
There were 2 ref bumps. There was another ref bump. Because they ended up outside fighting, and Earl was down again, and Goldust came out and sprinkled some gold dust around. He hit both those fuckers with the belt.
Well, it was clear that he was trying to hit Triple H.
Triple H.
Triple H ducked.
He hit Mero.
He hit Mero, and then he's like, well, try. If you... At first you don't succeed. Try again. And then he whacked
Triple H.
Hunter.
Yeah. And then Earl managed... So Earl was still dazed. That's actually what happened. Earl was still dazed. There were not 2 rough bumps. They played it off like he was still trying to wake up. And he was doing a pretty fast count on the outside. So.
Yeah.
And Mero managed to roll back in before the count out, and therefore he wins by count out. Can't win the title that way. That's when things got a little interesting, because he did some stuff that wasn't really face things. Like,
I think they're wild man things.
Wild man things. He put Hunter back in the ring and hit his wild thing splash, and then he stole the Intercontinental title. So
sometimes you gotta steal that title.
He must have talked to Savio about how you get ahead. You just take it, just steal it. Whether it's hubcaps or titles.
No.
What? No?
Not cool.
Not cool. I'm just saying. Where is Savio? I'm just saying. And then Hunter, because he was hurt, of course, from the wild thing, was slowly working his way out of the ring. He was on his way back to the locker room, and Goldust attacked him again.
Like a dick.
Well, if you get some of that dick in your face, you might get some Goldust on you. So, not a big fan of the ending, but it was a good match. It was a really good match. It was actually a really good match. Probably the best one so far tonight. I wish it wouldn't have been a double count out.
Was it?
Or a count out, not a double count out, but I wish it would have been a count out, but that's fine, because obviously they were not ready for this feud to be over, and obviously Goldust wants his title back, so, I get it.
We're getting close to triple threats, and maybe that's where this is building to?
It could be.
It could be this is a triple threat coming up.
Goldust is kind of always a triple threat, though, isn't he? Anyway, I'm going to give this 3.5 Wild Things.
I'm also going 3.5. Goldust Sparkles? I don't know.
Goldust Sparkles?
I wasn't sure where to go.
Do you think when Goldust poos, there's gold flakes? Think he farts gold?
I shit gold!
I mean, if unicorns can poop rainbows, why can't Goldust poop gold? I'm just saying. It's crazy.
You can't argue.
You can't argue. Alright, well, let's see what's next.
Okie dokie.
Okay, so for our next match, we get a interview backstage, and it's Doc Hendricks and Psycho Sid doing a promo only as Sid can, and they show us some footage of Superstars earlier in the day, and Sid and Sean were fighting outside in front of the arena, and then Brett came out of nowhere and went right for Sean, and then Sid attacked Brett when Sean wasn't looking, so we got us a good old feud going on.
Good old hootenanny.
Yeah, and then next we get the match everyone's been waiting for, Undertaker versus the Executioner. And they tell us this is an Armageddon match. So I'm listening to the rules at first, and I'm thinking it's a last man standing match, and technically it is. But it's early stages, and you actually, so there's no DQs, no countouts, but you have to pin or submit your opponent, and then they still have the 10 count to try to restart the match.
Kind of redundant.
Yeah. It's a little...
It's a good thing they changed that.
At the end of it, the ref... I mean, spoilers, but at the end of it, the ref even forgot about the 10 count for a minute. Like, oh...
How quickly before that ref was probably fired by Vince McMahon. Like,
damn it! Good luck on your future endeavors.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Yeah. You know what? I love The Undertaker. But God, this was bad. This is bad.
This is rough.
And I was telling my co-host during this match, it was even worse because it's not like the Executioner, the guy playing the Executioner, is not a fucking legendary professional wrestler that's been wrestling for years at this point. And maybe it's because we're older now and I watch it differently, but it was just little things like he sent the Executioner into the corner and he couldn't even hit the fucking corner right. Like, what are we doing? He awkwardly clotheslined the Undertaker over the ropes, and it didn't work right away, so he tried to awkwardly do it again. Like, good God.
Mankind showing up tried to save it a little bit.
Tried to. So they were outside, and Taker pulled the mat up and was about to tombstone the Executioner on the concrete, and Foley comes out to attack Taker, but he tripped over the fucking mat and landed straight on... So that was kind of funny. So it became a 2-on-1 for a while, and if I had to hear Jim Ross say one more fucking time that this ain't a handicap match, we know that it's a no DQ.
I wasn't aware. I was very glad that he told us this.
Like, not only can Mankind fight, Paul Bearer could jump in, the guy in the front row, it's a no DQ, it doesn't matter. Okay? Let's talk about the real victim of this match other than the audience. It was the stage set.
The stage set.
Ripped to the inner house. Ripped to the... Because they all proceeded to fight outside, and Mankind got thrown through the window. He got the Marty Jannetty on him.
The giant poster is what he got.
Immediately, my goes, he's disappointed. He's like, "Oh, it's not glass.
It's not real glass.
It's not plexiglass or
it's
sugar
not
glass.
windows.
There's no glass."
Yeah, we didn't.
Then he threw Mankind.
This is not the barbershop segment.
No, he threw Mankind back out the front door. And then at one point he tried to throw the Executioner through the side of the house, but the whole house just kind of shifted.
Whoops.
They fought out, they started to fight into the back, and they started going up the stairs, and they said the Executioner was running out of the arena.
He was slowly walking up the stairs.
Yeah, there was no running involved.
Undertaker slowly walks up the stairs as well. They had to take safety first.
Safety first.
You don't want to run up those stairs. That's not what the kids that were running up the stairs listened to.
But leave the arena, and for the next, I don't know, it seemed like 5 minutes, but it was probably 30 seconds. All we see are little kids running out of the arena. We don't change camera shots.
No, we just
watch the fans.
This is the interesting part.
Yes, this is the most interesting thing you're going to get.
They clearly didn't have cameras on the other side of that.
I forgot to mention that before they fought outside, security came out.
Security came out, started attacking Mankind so even though this is a no DQ match, so that it was perfectly legal for Mankind to be there.
It was.
They take 10 minutes to put a straitjacket on Mankind.
Which we see when they cut back to it, they're putting it. So not only was security out there, they happen to have a straitjacket. I was like, they're cuffing Mankind, which I could buy. No, they had. And these security guards, woo.
We wanted the vision of Mankind in a straitjacket.
The one security guy had hammer pants on. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Did you just go in the back and was like, hey, you guys that ain't doing nothing, we need security.
Here's some shirts, put them on.
Throw this shit on. Don't worry about
Go
changing
and attack
your pants.
Mankind.
Oh, my. They maced Mankind in the Executioner. What the fuck are we doing? This was worse than the Boiler Room Brawl. And I like Taker, but this was worse than the Boiler Room Brawl.
Yeah.
I think I covered everything I was trying to cover. It was the same outfit from Survivor Series, but Taker didn't go leather this time. He realized that wasn't the best. This was bad. I'm sorry, Undertaker. I like you, but this was bad. I'm going to give this 1.5. It wasn't the house's fault.
Wasn't the house's fault.
And it's only a 0.5 star because the Undertaker was involved in it. That's the only thing that gave it a...
I'm going to give this 1 Hannibal Mankind. All he needed was the mask.
All he needed was the mask. They could have put him on the dolly and he would have been...
Right.
Thank God we survived that. That's over. We made it through that mess. And I don't got to say what's next because I know what's next. It's
Bret Hart.
It's main event time.
Sid Justice.
For the time. It's vicious. Psycho Sid, actually. It's not
Psycho
even
Sid.
It's just Psycho
I
Sid.
know.
By the way, I talked about for some reason at this point in his career, Sid likes to wear a white cap, baseball hat, backwards when he does promos. It's white every time, too. I don't know why, but I know if I had blonde hair and I was pale, I'd want to wear a white backwards hat as well. So when you're Sid, it doesn't fucking matter. Because you're Sid.
He probably just got back from playing baseball. He's like, all right, I'll do this damn pay-per-view for the title, but you know what? I will still be in my baseball gear.
And you joke about that, but I remember in one of our old episodes, one of the facts I found for us was that Sid didn't even know what fucking pay-per-view it was. He just showed up. Oh, this is WrestleMania? Shit. Change out of my baseball gear and get ready for this.
Right?
Alright, well, the main event doesn't have to really live up to much to be this fucking mess, so let's see how it does. Alright, so before the next match, we get Doc backstage interviewing Bret Hart, and Bret, of course, is first talking about Shawn and how pissed he is at Shawn before he starts talking about his match against Sid. He's not even done with his interview and Shawn's music starts playing. Bret gets even more pissed. Don't you just love Bret throwing a fit, Hart? You know?
Yeah.
That's not fair, you guys. I'm not done with my interview and they're playing Shawn's music.
Bret, the wine baby Hart.
It's not cool, y'all. It's not cool. So Shawn's out here to do commentary because he is getting the title shot at the Royal Rumble. So he wants to see who his opponent will be. And of course our main event is Psycho Sid and Bret Hart for the title. And pretty good match. It started off with Sid being... Actually, it started off with that Canadian Bret Hart attacking the champ from behind. Is that how you do it in Canada? Before the match even starts?
That's what they're talking about.
We are seeing a little bit of heel stuff out of Bret in this match, are we not?
I feel like we're seeing heel things out of all these faces.
Right. These are all supposed to be the faces, and they're all acting like a bunch of fucking heels. It's good stuff. I mean, Sid, first of all, was never a face. You may like him, but come on. Sid's always been psycho.
Yeah.
But,
you can't have a face be called Psycho Sid.
Right.
I mean, come on now.
Sid Justice just wasn't working for anybody. You know,
no,
this wasn't doing it. But
was Sid Vicious more of a WCW thing?
Yeah, I don't think he was ever Sid Vicious in WWF. It went from Justice to Psycho Sid. Maybe they called him Sid Vicious at some point.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, that was his WCW. They might have mentioned it once or twice in here, but going into this match though, and I couldn't remember this match, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Sid, but I'm just like, I don't see him letting him beat Bret clean. Not saying he's not capable of it, but you know, it's Bret Hart. We can't crush his ego. God forbid, right? The confusing part was that there came a point in this match where Bret was on the outside and Sid was trying to pull him in by his hair, so Earl stopped him and pushed him back, which is fine, but Stone Cold came out of nowhere and clipped Bret's knee.
Yeah, that was weird. I mean,
it's just weird.
It doesn't help because we don't watch.
True, and we know that Bret and Stone Cold faced before, but it's like I was like, well, maybe he hates all the Hart Foundation, but you pointed out where he didn't attack Owen earlier. He only attacked Bulldog.
Maybe Owen hired Stone Cold.
Paid him off with his slammy.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you one of my slammies if he'll be my assassin. But, so he clipped Bret's leg, and of course it made Bret vulnerable, so we thought that might be the end, but the match actually kept going. There was another point in the match where the ref was distracted, and Bret took the turnbuckle off. So face hero Bret Hart here's being dirty again. And you know anytime you take a turnbuckle pad off, that's going to bite you in the ass eventually. It didn't bite him in the ass right then, but that will come into play. It will. There was another point where Bret went outside and he wanted Shawn's chair, and so Shawn just stood up and was like, go ahead, take it.
Go ahead.
Here's your hero, he needs a chair.
Right.
He needs a chair to win the match. Needless to say, he did not get to use the chair anyway because Sid was on that shit. So it's like, no, that's not happening. Sorry, sexy boy.
Sorry, sexy boy.
It's not gonna happen. But the funny part was, Sid rolled Bret back into the ring and then had some words with Shawn, and then he pushed Shawn into the guardrail. Like, fuck you.
That was just rude.
It was rude, it was.
Just absolutely rude.
Shawn really did do nothing. Like, there was no reason to push him like that.
No.
It sounded like he was trying to accuse Shawn of giving Bret the chair, and Shawn's like, well, fuck yeah, I don't care if he takes the chair, whatever. Not my match, what do I care? So, he does that, and they go back in the ring, and Shawn gets up on the apron, and Sid sends Bret right into Shawn. They crack heads, powerbomb, match over. Sid's still your champ. So, I don't think it wasn't a bad match. Bret's good. Sid, as long as he's in there with the right person, and he gets to play off his power and doesn't do submissions, which he didn't.
He did not do submissions, no. Thank God.
He got to look strong for a while, and he took a good beating. Bret was trying to work the back and all that stuff. So, and it was a good story because we're still going through this whole this triangle. It's a three-way again, but it's okay.
It's not gay.
It's not gay,
and
like we talked about before. And so now we know that we are going to get Shawn and Sid at the Rumble. So, and I loved how, by the way, did you see that graphic they showed of the It's Time graphic when they were showing the replay because they had to change everything? It's literally just a black and white graphic that says It's Time. So, that's all we got for you. Sorry, we ran out of money and we had to change things at the last minute. So
all I thought of is it's kind of a cool graphic, and I'm looking forward to using it as a background whenever I do this YouTube.
There you go. See? He likes the graphic that I just shit on.
I do.
It's just funny because knowing what it was supposed to be and how they changed everything. Because
I get it.
Shawn wasn't and this whole, it's going back and watching and knowing what I know now, you can see, we all know how this works, but you can see those moments where Bret and Shawn really fucking want to, punch each other. You can see that hatred. It's legit.
Unfortunately, what this match did just made me long for the Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels stuff.
Right.
I'm looking forward to this feud.
We are real close to Bad Bret and the Bad Hart Foundation. We're getting real close.
We have to be, because isn't it 97 when the screw drop happens?
Well, yeah, and WrestleMania has a pretty big moment when Bret fights Stone Cold that kind of pushes us towards Bad Bret. So we're getting to that. We're getting to that right around the corner. So Sid retains. He's still your champ. Bret still hates Shawn. Shawn hates Sid. Everybody hates each other. And it's all over that title, baby. They all want to be the champ. That's where the money is. Sid could buy some new bats for softball if he's champion. He probably had some nice gear. You know, if you're a pro wrestler, your ball gear should be banging.
Well, he probably focuses more on the bat gear than his wrestling gear, because his wrestling gear is just plain black. He's got the Goldberg and the cold Steve Austin look.
And I think the only time when he was Sid Justice, he wore blue, and then I think he always did black in WWE. That was a WWE thing. I don't know if that was just... Because in WCW, it was always all solid color, but he'd change his trunks. Sometimes he wore red or what, you know. So I don't know. They like the black thing. I guess Stone Cold's like, quit stealing my gimmick, bitch. Yeah, Psycho Sid. Even though when he did a different color, Sid there was never any words on his, clothing or anything like that. He wore a vest in WCW, but I don't think he ever
I guess his face is terrifying enough. He doesn't really need to do anything.
He's big.
Yeah.
Sid's a big guy. He's got that look. That's what you always talk about, like the look. He's got that look.
He's got a look.
When Sid comes out, you're like, oh, somebody's getting fucked up.
Right.
Somebody, whether he wins or not, somebody's getting fucked up right now. I'm telling you. Sid's going to snap.
That's fair.
So, decent main event. It wasn't over the top. I didn't hate it. It wasn't boring. It just, I don't know. Sid and Shawn was a better match than this was, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brett, Mr. Insensitive. I am so tired of Shawn Michaels. He looked pissed legit when they cut his interview off with the Shawn entrance music. It was so great. I'm not done yet! And then after the match, Shawn goes back to the headset to try to talk shit about Brett, and his headset's not working. So all we heard was like the end of it when he was like, I'm gonna kick your ass, punk, or whatever he said.
Right.
It was something to that effect. So, let's see. What am I gonna give this? I'm going to give this, by the way, I forgot to mention too that Brett's the one that ended up eating the turnbuckle where he took the pad off. In the end, Brett's the one whose head hit that. So that's what you get. It bit you right in the ass, Brett. Okay, well, I guess I'm going to give this 3, give me your chair.
I'm going to go with 3.5. Give me this feud that I want.
He wants Brett and Shawn so bad. Give it to me, baby.
Brett and Shawn, I'm looking forward. 2 amazing wrestlers.
They are 2 amazing wrestlers, and even though it's just, I can't wait to see the screw job, and I know it's a screw job, but it's just one of those moments in wrestling.
I'm looking forward to it. I've never watched the match.
Oh, you've never seen the match?
I've never seen it, so I'm looking forward to it.
And even back then, when I wasn't smart like I am now, I knew that was not supposed to happen. Like when you see it, you'll just know, you're like, oh shit, that was not. Yeah, it's definitely the day that that fourth wall got broken.
Right.
And that's the point when everybody knew who Vince really was. The ones that didn't know yet, like all that comes from that screw job. So, looking forward to it.
Me too.
Me too. So, it's time to pick some matches.
It is.
Favorite match of the night.
Alright, so favorite match of the night. And I'm actually not going to the main event. My favorite match of the night is going to be the Intercontinental title match. Triple H versus Mark Mero. I think it was overall a better match than Bret versus Sid. Maybe the story wasn't... I mean, there was a story. Maybe the story wasn't as good as far as the actual match. Yeah, I'm going with Mark Mero and Triple H.
You know what? I think I agree with you.
I
agree with you, because I don't mind the ending. So I don't mind the story. I like the story and everything. Obviously, it was setting more up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do think that the Mark Mero Triple H match was the better option. Not that I disliked the main event.
Oh, no, me neither. But, favorite match of the night is about which one we enjoyed the most.
And I think I agree. I agree.
Triple H is mad.
I don't think the next one's going to be nearly as hard.
Gosh.
Worst match of the night.
Alright, worst match of the night. Wow. This is a historical moment, I think, because I never thought in my life that a pay-per-view with Flash Funk versus Leif Cassidy wouldn't be the worst match, because it's not. The worst match of the night was Undertaker versus Executioner.
Unfortunately, we're agreeing again.
Yeah, I mean, because the truth is, the kickoff match, the match itself wasn't bad, it's just nobody cared about the characters.
That's true.
That's the truth.
It wasn't a bad match.
It wasn't a bad match. It's just nobody cared about. I'm sorry, Undertaker. That Executioner match was fucking horrible.
On fairness, I don't really give a shit about the Executioner, so there was one person in that match as well that I didn't.
And again, I'll go back to the fact because I know who was under that mask, it makes it even worse. If it was some guy that was green or a jobber, it'd be different. It's Terry fucking Bam Bam Gordy, and it's just horrible.
Yeah.
Ugh. Sorry, takers.
Right. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
Let's rank them.
Rank them.
In your house. Rankings.
Alright, so in your house rankings. And once again, I've decided I will continue to do as my co-host, and I'll start with my least favorite and go to my favorite. And we have 12 in your houses now.
It's definitely the better option.
It is, right? The suspense build up. That's why we do that. But 12 of these bad boys now. So here we go. At number 12, I have In Your House 4. At 11 is In Your House 3. At 10 is In Your House 2. At 9, I have the original In Your House 1. And at 8 is where I put this. In Your House 12, It's Time, is at number 8. At 7, I have In Your House 9. At 6, I have In Your House 8. At 5, I have In Your House 6. At 4, I have 7. At 3, I have In Your House 11. At 2, I have In Your House 10. And number 1 is still In Your House 5 with the Bulldog Bret Hart main event.
All right. Well, for me, I have In Your House 4 at 12. At 11, I have In Your House 3. And this one I put at 10.
Ooh.
In Your House 12 at 10. 9 is In Your House 8. 8 was In Your House 1. 7 is In Your House 2. 6 is In Your House 9. In Your House 7 for 5. 10 for 4. 11 for 3. 6 for 2. And my favorite is still
In Your House 5. In Your House 5 at the top. What do you know about that? Interesting.
I thought this was pretty weak.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
Even the good matches weren't.
They were okay. Yeah.
They were fine.
Yeah, there was nothing really. A lot of Stone Cold, which was fine, you know.
But we didn't get an actual match with Stone Cold.
Rocky.
Rocky.
And actually, you brought that up. Rocky was in a dark match. Stone Cold also had a dark match. Shawn even had a dark match.
Huh.
So, go figure on that. Right?
So 3 are your... well, I guess Rocky's not considered a top star yet.
Especially because he wrestled Salvador Sadali or whatever the hell that guy's name was.
I don't know who that is.
Match. Good stuff. All right, well, folks, we did it. And next week it's going to be 1997.
1997 Royal Rumble.
We're moving right along here.
Moving on up.
To the side. We've picked some matches. We've ranked some In Your Houses. We got to plug those pluggables. That's what we got to do.
We sure do.
And as we always encourage you, you can find us on the Boomer and Blaze Facebook page. We are at Boomer_Blaze on the Twitter and the Insta. At Boomer and Blaze Show on the TikToks. And don't forget to check out the YouTubes, folks. He's still working away, chugging every day. Plug those pluggables.
Yeah, the Boomer and Blaze Wrestling pay-per-view rewatch. YouTube, I just put on Royal Rumble 5. Is where I am at currently. And so we're slowly going through. They also added a podcast playlist on the on YouTube. Unfortunately, I don't have it available for our page.
Right.
So I've started putting the episodes on my Dragon Blazer Productions where I do have it available. I'm guessing because I've had that longer, or I've got more views on there and everything, more subscribers. So that the podcast will be on YouTube Music.
Nice.
So that is I've been re-putting them on that. All the ones I've worked on. But you can find me at the Dragon Blazer Productions on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. You can also find me at Dragon Blazer Pro. That one's Twitter. I meant TikTok. TikTok is Dragon Blazer Productions. So, and yeah, I'm just doing stuff.
Doing things.
All the times.
Busy fella, doing things.
Busy times.
Alright, well, we survived another episode. We thank everyone for listening. Don't forget to tune in next week, Royal Rumble 1997.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
We should get some more. We should get some Rocky on that one.
We should get some Rocky on that. We're going to get a lot on that.
If he's not in the Royal Rumble, we riot.
Right. Yeah, because it's not going to be too long. We're going to get the Rocky Suck chance. And then it's going to be Nation Rocky. Like, it's moving right along.
I know. I'm excited. I also kind of cheated. And I found out when the first triple threat matches.
Because we were just talking about it.
It's in 1997.
So. It's on a Raw, isn't it? I think we looked this up once before.
Oh, no.
Not a Raw?
Well, maybe.
Yeah, I think we talked about this one other time, a long time ago, and I think when I looked it up then, it was on a Monday Night Raw. I could be wrong. I just looked it up. I thought it was a pay-per-view. Yeah, we're professional around here.
Yeah.
We are top notch.
Super professional.
The first televised triple threat match was in June 1997 when Owen Hart defeated Goldust and Triple H on an episode of Raw to win the Intercontinental title.
Oh, it doesn't say what... it was Raw June 23rd. Okay.
June
so, sometime after that, we should get them in the pay-per-views.
Yes, we should. And the next time, hopefully, when we see a Last Man Standing match, it's just a Last Man Standing match and not no Armageddon crap.
Right.
Because that just was unnecessary confusion on top of a big shit show.
Yeah, that was weird.
Alright, well, until then, this has been the Boomer and Blaze Show. I am Boomer.
And I'm Blaze.
And good night from Dragon Blazer Studios.
I'm going to do this song in honor of the holiday we just celebrated. St. Patty's Day. It's my favorite holiday. And I learned a song in honor of it. It's an old Irish song. It's been passed down from generation to generation. From father to son, when the boy's on the verge of manhood. And it's called Down to the Old Pub Instead. Lad, it's your duty to find ye a lass with childbearing hips and a pink supple ass, and make her your wife and love her with love so true. Now some rivers run high, some rivers run low. When her river runs red, then she's starting her flow. And it's called menstruation, and here's what it means to you. You will notice her bloomers are spotty at first. Stand back, her ovarian dam's gonna burst. Son, don't be afraid, it's a natural thing. Just wad up some cotton and hand her some string. Put the old linens on top of the bed. Get out of the house and go down to the old pub instead. She'll retain her water, her breasts will be tender, and every third word that you say will offend her. Get out of the house and go down to the old pub instead. And she'll want to make love. If you do, you're a fool, 'cause you'll only end up with a bloody O'Toole. Get out of the house, down to the old pub instead. And she'll want you to sample the fruit of her loins, but son, it'll taste like some old rusty coins. So turn off the light, boy, and take off your hat, and drop to your knees, say a prayer to St. Pat. Then he'll give you the strength to get out of the bed, and for Ireland's sake, go down to the old pub instead. Now the pub is the place where the lads are a-meeting, when the moon's full and the gals are a-bleating. The Catholic, the Protestant, even the pagan, the pub is the place when your lady is ragging. So drink of your pint, boys, and thank your shamrocks that as men folk we don't have to bleed from our cocks. and that we can escape from the lady in red and get out of the house and go down to the old pub instead. Thank you, everybody. Good night. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey everyone, this is Blaze from the Ragin' Blaze and the Boomer and Blaze Show. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more wrestling content.